Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Galar region. The one with the wild area. Yeah, that's the one. In this video, I'll be attempting to beat it with a twist. The main rule, and probably why you clicked on this video in the first place, is that I can only use first evolution Pokemon. Sounds pretty easy, right? You got Pokemon like Absol, and Sock, and Durant, and... That would be easy, and more so, rather boring. So the real challenge is that I can only use the first form of Pokemon that can evolve. I'm talking full-on baby mode, which I guess could be the name of the challenge? Anyway, the rest of the rules are pretty standard. No healing items during battle from me. That means that a Pokemon can still hold a berry or something, but I can't heal them directly. This includes potions, revives, and status effect healing. No online trades, which include wonder trades, and no overleveling. Come on, this would just be too easy if I could. With the rules set in stone, it's time to begin the challenge. Since the start of the game isn't very different than how you would normally play, I'm just gonna gloss over it. For my starter, I chose Sobble because he would be useful later on. Sobble isn't the best choice, but I'm sure that won't come back to bite me in the butt later. Anywho, Hop challenges Crybaby and I to a battle, and... I grabbed a few Pokemon that can help me out. Since I can't evolve, strength in numbers is a pretty good idea right now. Hop challenged me again, and same deal, it's pretty easy at this point. After that, the wild area became open to me, which includes the DLC. Unfortunately, I can't actually do Crown Tundra because all the Pokemon are too strong for me to catch. Even if I could, it would be over-leveling, so that's not allowed. So I made a quick stop on Motostoke to finalize my look, and I headed straight over to the Isle of Armor. I got there, I got called thick, beat Avery, and then went hunting for Dicklets. After finding 20 of them, I got one of the first permanent members to my team, Snow Angel, the Alolan Vulpix. This cold regional variant will be used for pure damage and Aurora Veil later in the game. She also comes with a hidden ability, Snow Warning, which changes the weather to hail, so that's a nice bonus. I grabbed a few more items, then returned to the base game, did the whole walkout thing, and then got stared at by a creepy man. Hop challenged me to a battle on the bridge, and I quickly beat him. After beating him, I got the next permanent member to my team, Dumpstar, the Trubbish. She'll be my poison expert, and be good for stalling with Black Sludge, which heals poison types. I went back to the wild area and caught yet another permanent member of my team, Pebble, the Dwebble. Dwebble was the whole reason I started this challenge in the first place, actually. I just thought it was a really cute Pokemon and realized I never take the time to appreciate the first evolution of Pokemon. So there's the origin story, I guess. Anywho, the BD fight wasn't too tough. I just threw all my Pokemon at him and I won eventually. I moved on and headed to the gym. Breezed through the starting bit and soon enough was ready to face Milo. Milo. I think someone at Nintendo was a fan. The battle begins with my Dumpstar versus his Gossifleur. With Dumpstar's poison type advantage, it was a quick victory. He then sent out his Eldegoss. With it being a final evolution and Dynamaxing, Dumpstar could only do so much. I sent in Snow Angel, who barely had enough damage to clean up. With that, I defeated Milo and claimed my first badge. With Milo cleared, I moved on. I headed out to the Isle of Armor and caught myself Mark the Mushroom for Nessa. Going back to the base game, Hop challenged me to yet another battle on the bridge. Even though his team evolved a bit, they were no match for Dumpstar. Crybaby also tried to evolve, but I didn't let it happen. As you can imagine, this happens a lot later on. After arriving in Hulbury, I immediately went to the gym, cleared the puzzle, and began my battle with Nessa. She led with her Goldeen, and I began stat boosting with Mark. Goldeen lands a blow and procs Mark's Spore effect, causing her to fall asleep. With that, I kept using Growth until I was ready to sweep her team. Her Aerocuda fell with one blow, and then came out her Dreadnought. Dreadnought was able to outspeed Mark and took him out with one hit. This wasn't looking good. I didn't have any other plans if Mark fell. I started tossing my Pokemon at her until the Dynamax wore off. Thankfully, Dumpstar was able to finish the job. With a poison and some sludge waves, Dumpstar took out the Dreadnought and I claimed my second badge. After beating Nessa, I moved on to the next rival battle with Beedee. I may or may not have forgotten that poison types are weak to psychic types, causing Dumpstar to be one-shot. Pebble came out next and set up Stealth Rock before being defeated. Stealth Rock is going to be another method of dealing easy damage for this challenge. It came down to Snow Angel. Her Blizzard and a few lucky crits were enough to win this battle. I cleared out of the mines and was challenged by the last rival, Marnie. And her theme frickin' rocks. Her team was pretty tough, knocking out a few of my Pokemon. But, thanks to Dumpstar's poison and damage, I was able to win. After that victory, I slept at the inn and headed to the gym. During the initial mini-game, I grabbed Jack, the Litwick. Litwick has some good moves, like Fire Spin and Will-O-Wisp, along with the ability Flame Body. Cleared the rest of the minigame and headed onto the field to battle Kabu. He leads with his Ninetales, and I start with Dumpstar. She's able to poison the Ninetales and set up Toxic Spike before getting knocked out. I then sent out Pebble, who laid out Stealth Rock and was able to take out his Ninetales. Dumpstar's Toxic Spike poisoned the Arcanine, and Jack was able to wear him down enough for the poison to finish him off. Finally, his Centiskorch was brought out. Pebble's Stealth Rock brought him down to half HP, and he was poisoned too. I knew I had nothing that could tank the Gigantamax, so I started throwing fodder at him. I was able to wear him out, and then sent out Crybaby, my last Pokemon. From the poison, it was a quick Water Pulse, and I had won. With that climactic finish, I claimed my Fire Badge and was ready to move on. Hop dragged me out into the wild area and was challenged by Beatty while I made my way to Hammerlock. Not that one. This one. Beatty bragged about beating Hop as I entered the city. I got the Route 6 and was quickly reminded how underleveled I was. So I started grinding for a bit and caught another permanent member to my team, Potato, the Hippopotas. God, that's an annoying name to say. He would be great for the team. Good bulk, dig for stalling, Sandstream, and Sand Tomb for damage over time. I made my way over the Stoan side and was greeted by a depressed Hop. His new switched-around team wasn't very good against my team, so it was a clean sweep. After somehow curing his depression, I moved on to face the gym leader. The minigame and trainer's part was pretty easy, and I began my battle against Alistair. He starts by sending out his Yamask, a rather weak Pokemon. Dumpstar was able to lay out Toxic Spike and easily take him out. Next came out his Mimikyu, a much stronger Pokemon. It took out Jack quite handily, and I sent out Dumpstar to take care of him. Unfortunately, Mimikyu was a bit too strong and took out Dumpstar as well. I sent out Pebble, who used Stealth Rock and was able to stall until the poison set in, fainting the Mimikyu. Next up was his Cursola, who one-shot Mark. This wasn't looking good. I only had 3 Pokemon left to face the rest of his team. Thankfully, Potato was the key to success. With his Crunch, I was able to easily finish the Cursola with no trouble. Alistair sent out his final Pokemon, his Gengar. He Gigantamaxed the Gengar and attacked Pebble, and he landed a crit. However, thanks to the Sandstorm boosting Pebble's special defense, the attack didn't finish him off. I was able to outstall his Gigantamax with Pebble's own Dynamax, but it exhausted Pebble's HP. I sent out Potato to finish the fight. With a Crunch, I won the battle and claimed my Ghost Badge. After that victory, I went in the Glimwood Tangle to catch one of the last members of my team, Stumpy, the Phantump. Phantump was the Pokemon I was most excited to get for this challenge. It's got all sorts of features that will really help out. Leech Seed for damage over time and healing, Ingrain for healing, Growth for stat boosting, Phantom Force for stalling, and okay stats all around make it one powerful piece of driftwood. While Stumpy is good, she won't be seeing too much use for a bit, as Beatty and the Fairy-type gym were coming up. Coming up right now, in fact. Beatty starts off by sending out his Duosion, and I send out Pebble. Pebble was able to take him down, but then Beatty sent out his Gothorita. I may or may not have forgotten, again, that Poison is weak to Psychics, and Dumpstar was taken out. Nice one, me. Potato was able to wear down the Gothorita enough to trade lives with. His Ponyta was quickly dispatched by Jack, but his Hattrem was able to defeat most of my team. Thankfully, Snow Angel was able to finish her off, and I claimed victory. It was nice to taste victory, because it's not going to be happening for a while. Opal is the leader of the Fairy-type gym, the gym I feared most in this run. But Greg, you have Dumpstar. She'll sweep it. Well, let's look at our team. Galarian Weezing, Fairy Poison type. Mawile, Fairy Steel type. Already, 2 Pokemon that Dumpstar can't work against. Togekiss, Fairy Flying, so Toxic Spike won't work on her. And no one on my team outspeeds her, so no damage over time. Finally, Alcremie, Fairy Pure. Honestly, not too big of a deal, except for one simple fact. The reality of this challenge is that one of my Pokemon cannot last more than 2 battles. That may not sound important, but let's run through this battle. My first attempt at this, I didn't know her team, so I led with Dumpstar and she sent out her Weezing. It was a slugging match, but Dumpstar won, thanks in part to the boost from the quiz. Her Mawile came out and I had to switch, losing the stat boosts. Jack was able to land a few good hits and took out the Mawile. That's when it came out. Her Togekiss. It wiped my entire team. Not just once either. It took me 3 attempts to finally beat this glorified paper airplane. Even on the attempt I did beat it, the Alcremie took out my last Pokemon and I had to do it all again. And then the Alcremie did it again. After a few attempts, I was finally able to save Dumpstar for the final fight. The Dynamax fight was a stalemate, but with a Toxic and a few Sludge Bombs, I was finally victorious. I spit in my hand and claimed my Fairy Badge. With the ordeal that was the Fairy-type gym out of the way, I made my way back to Hammerlock, where Beatty was assaulted by Opal. I made my way over to the next gym when I was challenged by Hop on another bridge. I was expecting for him to ask before we were going to battle, but he didn't. The battle started immediately, and I was unprepared. His Trevenant tore through Potato and Pebble as he cheekily grinned at his crit. After defeating the Trevenant, it was pretty easy, until I got to his Cinderace. Oh boy, am I not looking forward to late game Hop. Starters are always going to be solid Pokemon, and Cinderace is no exception. High speed, high attack, and frickin' Pyro Ball all make for a really powerful Pokemon. It wiped the rest of my team easily. To be honest, I felt kinda proud of him. Good job, Hop. You beat me fair and square. I'm 5 badges in, and I think it's time to get my final permanent member of the team, Omen, the Galarian Corsola. This Ghost-type regional variant has fantastic defensive stats, a strong healing move, and can learn all sorts of good moves through technical records. If I'm being honest, this Pokemon was more so because I just wanted a Pokemon from this gen. The other one I was thinking about was Kubfu, but I like the design of Galarian Corsola a lot more. Anywho, I took on Hop once more and cleared it now that I was prepared. It was also around this time that Dumpstar started to evolve. Yay, more bee-mashing. I made my way to the peaceful, snowy city of Sorchester, where I took a second to just enjoy the music. I really love this OST. It reminds me a lot of Sinnoh, which I'm really looking forward to going back to. Well, back to action. I headed over to the ice gym and cleared the tedious minigame before taking on Melanie. I lost on my first try, but I got really close, just failing at her Lapras. On the second attempt, however, I tried something totally different. After using Toxic on her Frostmoth, I brought out Omen. I began stat boosting with Calm Mind and let the poison do its work. Once her Frostmoth fell, her Darmanitan came out. With the stat boosts, I was able to take it out with ease. Her Ice Cube was sent out, and Omen was able to get an Ancient Power stat boost to finish it off. Her Lapras was Gigantamaxed, so I Dynamaxed Omen. Thanks to all the stat boosts, I was able to hold out until it was all brought back to normal. Omen was able to bring it down to the red, but was finished off due to a critical Ice Beam. I sent in Snow Angel to carry out Omen's will. With that, I was able to beat Melanie and claim the Ice Badge. After my victory, Hop challenged me to a battle. This battle was no trouble, and even his Cinderace fell to my team of babies. I quickly moved on to Spikemouth to challenge Piers. They locked the doors, though. Marnie would let me in, but only if I beat her in a battle. The battle begins, and she sends out her Leopard, and I send out Dumpstar, as usual. The classic Toxic and Toxic Spike combo was dished out, and the Leopard was defeated. Next came out her Scrafty, and I switched to Stumpy, who was one-shot. Pebble was sent out next and almost did the job, but fell a little short. Snow Angel finished it off, but then had to face off against her Toxicroak. Taking the Toxicroak down to half health, Snow Angel fainted, leaving the task up to Potato, who took it down using Earthquake. She finally brought out her Morpeko, who didn't stand a chance to the power of Ireland's favorite vegetable. Or starch. It's Ireland's favorite thing. After beating her, I made it into the slums of the Galar region and took on the gym. After watching some impressive backflips, it was time to take on Piers. He starts with his Scrafty, and I start with Dumpstar's signature Toxic Spike combo. Unfortunately, the Scrafty was still able to take out Dumpstar, but Pebble came out to finish the job. Next came out his Malamar. It took out Pebble, but Potato was there to avenge him. He then sent out his Obstagoon. This Fursona biker gang member was able to take out Potato. Even at a disadvantage in both evolution and typing, Omen was able to take it out though. Finally, Pierre sent out his Skunk Tank, who one-shot Omen. Stumpy was sent out next and just barely lost to him. Snow Angel was there to finish the fight and claim me my Dark Badge. Just a little note, it took me 3 tries to beat him. After beating Piers, I made my way to Hammerlock, where Leon was actually able to deal with the threat instead of making me do it. What a gentleman. Anywho, after being told to just play the game, I made my way over to Raihan's gym. It didn't take long to clear the trainers. The whole double battle thing actually makes this way easier to do. Thankfully, Raihan does the same, so let's get right into the battle. He starts by sending out his Flygon and Gigalith, and I send out Dumpstar and Pebble. I Toxic the Flygon, but it takes out Pebble in the next turn. I Toxic the Gigalith and send out Omen, who I taught Surf specifically for this gym. Dumpstar is taken out, but Omen is able to get off a Surf, weakening the Flygon enough for the poison to take it out. Raihan sends out his Sandaconda, which sounds weirder on paper, and I send in Stumpy. Omen gets chomped and drops out of the fight. I send in Potato to replace her. Potato is able to get off an Earthquake, which takes out both of the Pokemon. Down to his final Pokemon, he sends out his Duraludon and Gigantamaxes it. It takes out Stumpy, and Snow Angel comes out next. It's a 2-on-1, the odds are in my favor. He takes out Snow Angel, but I still have some Dynamax time left on Potato. I outlast the Gigantamax, and he falls back to his normal form. With Potato still in his Dynamax form, I get taken out and still lose. Yeah. I challenged him again right after that loss, and actually beat him this time, with Stumpy scoring the final hit. And with that, I've beaten Raihan and claimed the final badge. I've completed the gym challenge with just first evolution Pokemon. With that victory, Hop and I made our way over the Windon, the final town in the game. I head over to the stadium and begin the semifinals to see who will be the one to take on the Champion Cup. My first opponent is Marnie, who's trudged along this gym challenge same as I. She has a team of Dark-type Pokemon, fans cheering her on, and perhaps most important of all, a kick-ass theme. She sends out her Leopard, and I send in Pebble. Doing the classic Dumpstar strat won't work as well this time. Instead, I have a different approach. Shell Smash. This move would boost Pebble's speed and attack stats a lot at the cost of defensive stats. This strategy pays off as Pebble outspeeds and is able to one-shot the Liepard. Scrafty comes out next and is able to take out Pebble, but not before he's able to deal some good damage. Snow Angel was able to finish the job with ease. She sends out her Toxicroak, and I swap in Potato. With an Earthquake, Potato one-shots the Toxicroak. With her Morpeko coming out next, I kept Potato in. Smart move on my part, as Potato one-shots the Morpeko as well. With no other options left and backed into a corner, Marnie sends out her final Pokemon, Grimmsnarl. She Gigantamaxes this hairy wannabe fighting type, and it easily takes out Potato. Even though I have a few Pokemon left, they can't survive any of his hits. With that in mind, I send in Omen, who gets one shot. Stumpy comes in and suffers the same fate. With the Gigantamax over, I send in the Star. The Dumpstar. I get off a Toxic and then Dynamax. With a few more blasts from Dumpstar, I emerge victorious. Next up, my true rival, Hop. Well, Marnie only appeared after the second gym for a battle. Hop has been there since the start. And now we're here, battling it out on the grandest stage in all of Galar, with the best theme in the entire game. But enough theatrics. Let the battle begin. He sends out Dubwool, and I send in Dumpstar, who does her classic combo. Before long, Dumpstar goes on the offensive and takes down the Dubwool, nearly fainting in the attempt. He sends out his Snorlax next, so I switch in Omen. I utilize the Rocky Helmet with Sap Strength to stall it out. Hop came prepared though, and uses a full restore to counter my efforts. While that did set me back, I was using Calm Mind this whole time, and Omen was able to pull off a win, with Surf washing away this round lad. Pincurchin comes out next, but is unable to stop my stat-boosted piece of dead Coral as she hexes away its HP. Corviknight takes to the field, so I Dynamax. Even with all those stat boosts, I just barely take it out in 2 blows, nearly fainting on that short interval. Finally, Cinderace comes out. This furry bait bunny got the best of me too many times before, but this time, I came prepared. It Dynamaxes, but Omen is able to outspeed and one-shot it due to all the stat boosts. The battle ends with Hop's sad acceptance that you can't always win, even if you have a kick-ass theme. Before this game's Elite Four, I get rudely interrupted by the bad guy side story this game has been graciously putting aside. It was no big deal, and Hop was actually the go-goat for Rose Tower. Soon, I face off against the Mad Lady Olena and her all-female team. The battle begins, and I send in Pebble to deal with her Frolass. Pebble one-shots it with a Rock Wrecker Shell Smash combo, and it's switched out for Stumpy to face the Milotic. Stumpy takes it down with a few energy balls before being called back when her Salazzle comes out. Potato is able to easily destroy her with an Earthquake, and Dumpstar cleans up the Sarisa. Finally, she sends out her Garbodor. As fun as it would have been to see Dumpstar face off against it, her current moveset would mean that Dumpstar couldn't do any damage. So I sacrificed her to the garbage pile. Stumpy and Pebble get sacrificed as well. With the Gigantamax over, Potato comes in and takes out the trash. Ow! Ow! God! Ow! God! Stop! Stop! Ugh. It turns out this interruption was all pointless, and the match continues anyway. But, like, not actually, since BD's battle isn't actually part of the official match, but who cares? On to the battle! BD takes the stage with an altered team than usual, leading with a Mawile. I send in Dumpstar to lay out some Toxic Spikes, and, of course, she faints. After that, I send in Omen, who uses Calm Mind and takes out the Mawile. His Gardevoir suffers the same fate, as Omen shreds through it. His Rapidash outspeeds and takes out Omen, though. Stumpy is able to finish it off, and next comes out his Hatterena. With its Gigantamax, it takes out Stumpy, and then Snow Angel, but not before Snow Angel can set up an Aurora Veil. It's all down to Pebble as the Gigantamax fades. With a Dynamax and a Max Flutterby, the Hatterena is taken down and I can move on. With all my rivals defeated, I move on to the Champion Cup. My first opponent in this gauntlet is Nessa with her improved team of water types. She starts with her Glossopod, and I start with Pebble. I Shell Smash and tank the hit with Sturdy. Using Rock Wrecker, I one-shot the Crustacean Samurai. Barraskewda comes out next, and I send in Stumpy to take him on. Thankfully, Stumpy's Horn Leech can recover all of her HP and secures the win. She sends out her Pelipper and defeats Pebble, and I send in Dumpstar the Toxicate. Due to some misfortune with confusion, Dumpstar falls before she can take the win. Omen comes out next, so I start stat boosting and then finish off the Pelipper. Her Sea King falls just the same. So quick that it makes me wonder why it's even on her team. Yeah, regardless, her final Pokemon comes out next. Dreadnought. With a proper Gigantamax, it poses a great threat. It takes out Omen, but not before Omen lands a good hit. Snow Angel sets up Aurora Veil and is taken out. Stumpy is the last to be sacrificed as the Gigantamax fades. Potato is our last Pokemon, which is exactly what I wanted. Due to Dreadnought's rock typing, a quick Earthquake is enough to take it down. Moving right on ahead, I face off against Alistair. He starts with Dusknoir and I send in Dumpstar. I do the classic combo and begin stockpiling as its health wilts away. Unfortunately, Dumpstar didn't get far before fainting, so I brought out Omen for a daring plan. You see, Ghost types are weak to Ghost type attacks, but that can work in my favor. With Omen's weak armor and Calm Mind, I'm able to stat boost a bit as the poison finishes off the Dusknoir. But, it doesn't work out, as his Chandelure outspeeds and takes out Omen. Thankfully, I have a fallback plan. Play normally and not do something stupid. I send out Pebble, who dodges a Will-O-Wisp and Shell Smashes. I use Rock Slide to take down the Chandelure with ease. Cursola comes out next and is met by a powerful Rock Wrecker and taken down. His Poltegeist comes out with a Shadow Ball, but Pebble hangs on for a turn. I use Rock Slide, which doesn't finish, and Pebble's taken out. Alistair uses a full restore as Stumpy comes out and uses Phantom Force. Due to Poltegeist's weak armor, Stumpy is able to one-shot it, bringing out his final Pokemon, Gengar. It Gigantamaxes and takes out Stumpy. Snow Angel sets up an Aurora Veil and faints the next turn, wearing out the Gigantamax. Potato's there the Dynamax, but is put to sleep. As Potato is hammered down by Shadow Balls, he wakes up just in time, finishing it with a powerful Max Quake. Right after that close battle, I take on Raian, who's now coming at me with a team worthy of taking on the champion. He sends out Torkoal and I send in Dumpstar. I'm able to just barely pull off the combo as Dumpstar is taken out. Pebble comes out next and Shell Smashes and then gets hit with a Solar Beam, proccing Sturdy. Pebble finishes the Torkoal off with a Rock Slide, and then he brings out his Goodra. One simple Rock Wrecker one-shots my favorite Dragon-type Pokemon. Next comes out his Turtonator, who just spams Shell Trap. So I just start stat boosting with Omen until I can finish him off with 1 Hex. Omen is able to take out the Flygon with 2 Hexes, but is pretty hurt in the process. But that's just fine, as he's down to his last Pokemon, Duraludon. With its Gigantamax, it takes down Omen, and then takes down Pebble. Stumpy holds on enough to plant a Leech Seed, but faints due to the Sandstorm. Snow Angel sets up an Aurora Veil as the Gigantamax fades, but still gets one shot. It's all up to Potato again. Even with the Dynamax, his Duraludon's still pretty strong and can land some good hits. Thankfully, my little Spudbud is able to shrug it off and pull out a win. With that, I've earned my right to take on the champion himself, Leon. Hop gives me his praise and wishes me luck against his unbeatable brother. I head out to the field and get interrupted by Chairman Rose. Leon runs off and Hop and I go catch some dogs. They didn't want to come with us, so we stole their favorite toys and ran back to Hammerlock. I went downstairs and started my battle with Rose. But, I lost, and the whole Galar region was destroyed. Nah, not actually, but I did lose a few times. My savior came in the form of an old friend, Jack the Litwick. Since Rose has a team full of steel types and 2 that are quad weak to fire, this will be a quick run through. The battle begins with one of the most over-the-top evil themes for a Pokemon villain. Rose sends out his Escavalier, and I send in Jack. With Escavalier being a bug steel type, fire is 4 times as strong, and Jack one-shots it with an overheat. I forgot to record me taking out the Berserker, but short answer is that Potato did it. Anywho, he sends out his Ferrothorn, and I send in Jack. Ferrothorn is a grass steel typing, so I Dynamaxed Jack and took him out with a Max Flare. His Keclang suffered the same fate. Finally, his Copperjaw came out and was Gigantamaxed. I max guarded with Jack to stall the Gigantamax a bit more. Jack fell the next turn and then Stumpy came out. Planting a Leech Seed outlived the Gigantamax. Stumpy fainted shortly after, but was able to deal some good damage. Omen came out next and was promptly defeated before she could even land an attack. Snow Angel was done in just as quick, but she could set up an Aurora Veil. I was down to one last Pokemon, Pebble. I used Bulldoze and was able to finish it off with the Rocky Helmet. Boy, am I glad I allowed items to be held. With Rose defeated, I put Dumpstar back on the team and went to face off against Eternatus. Leon fails to capture it, and now it's up to Hop and I to save all of Galar. Or should I say that it's up to the legendary dogs and Hop to save all of Galar? Look at these freaking stats on Gigantamax Eternatus. My baby team is not meant to fight this. So the dogs beat down Eternatus while I struggle to hold out. After a bit of time, I get the honor of capturing Eternatus, and I'm considered the hero that saved all of Galar by doing jack shit. Leon, the undefeated champion. This purple-haired, poorly shaven, apparently related to Unova's own Iris man is definitely worthy of that title. Let's go over his team. To start with, he has an Aegislash. If its high stats weren't enough, Leon likes to teach his Pokemon TMs and TRs. The one he has is equipped with Shadow Ball and Ion Cannon for coverage. Not too bad, but not an easy Pokemon to beat. He also carries around a Dragapult, Galar's pseudo-legendary. Not only can it outspeed every one of my Pokemon, yes, even a +4 speed Omen, it's also packed with counters. Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Dragon Breath. You can see where my team is caught. Hexorus, one of my favorite Pokemon and one of the highest attack stats of any non-legendary. Iron Tail, Earthquake, Outrage, and Poison Jab? Poison Jab. Weird choice, Leon. His team varies slightly depending on who you pick as your starter. You probably already know that he takes whatever starter you and Hop didn't pick. But he also adds one more Pokemon according to what you grabbed. For me, it's Rhyperior. His massive bulk can access to both Heat Crash and Earthquake. They're scary enough. The real scary thing is that Leon has a full restore, which Cerebi doesn't mention for some reason. Full restoring the Rhyperion means that it's like a wall that fights back. Next is his Rillaboom. Starters are never pushovers, and he's got frickin' 2 of them. His Rillaboom comes equipped to counter most advantages, with high horsepower for fire and poison types, and knockoff for flying types, and to get rid of your item. This monkey was made to toss up any normal strategy. Finally, his signature Pokemon, Charizard. And, whoo boy, does Leon like to trick out his Charizard. And it can Gigantamax. I attempted to beat him numerous times, losing both hope and to him. Every time I got close, I get reminded as to why he's the champion. Even with all sorts of different strategies, it all comes down to RNG since I don't overlevel, and each attempt takes me around 15 minutes. Suffice to say, this isn't how Nintendo expected you to fight the undefeated champion. Hey, isn't that Raian? Think he's off to face Leon again? Ain't this like his 15th attempt? I don't know, man. I think that he just... I start with Potato, and he starts with his Aegislash. The Sandstorm blows as Aegislash uses Shadow Ball. It hits Potato and... doesn't finish! Potato stomps forward and uses Earthquake, destroying the Aegislash with one hit. He sends in Rillaboom, and I swap the Pebble. He uses Endeavor, which does nothing since he has more HP than Pebble. I use Shell Smash twice, and he procs Sturdy with Drum Beating. I use X-Scissor and take out the Rillaboom in one hit. Next comes in his X-Source, and I Dynamax Pebble. Faster and stronger, Pebble takes her out with one Max Rockfall. Next up is his wall, Rhyperion. With no super effective moves, I use Max Flutterby to deal some damage. It's not enough, and the Rhyperion takes down Pebble with Stone Edge. I send out Stumpy, who has grass moves that will deal 4 times the damage on Rhyperion. He outspeeds Stumpy and lands a Heat Crash, decimating her health bar. But it doesn't KO, thanks to the Focus Sash I gave her. Stumpy fires off an Energy Ball and takes him down. The Dragapult comes out next and he's ready to fight. She takes down Dumpstar, but not before she can Toxic him. Snow Angel comes out next and is hit by a devastating Flamethrower. She sets up an Aurora Veil and is hit by another deadly spew of flames. But she stays standing, landing a powerful Blizzard and finishing off the Dragapult. Everything's down to the wire as Leon sends out his last Pokemon, his partner, Charizard. He Gigantamaxes and uses a Max Airstream to take down Stumpy, who I sent in to be sacrificed. Potato gets done in by a Max Overgrowth. What a mistake that was, Leon. Snow Angel is the last to end the Gigantamax, as Charizard drops a mountain on her. It's all down to one last Pokemon. He has an untouched Charizard, and I have Omen. He hits Omen with a Fire Blast, taking her down to low HP. I use Calm Mind to bulk up. Now for that mistake Leon made. With the leftovers Omen has, and the grassy terrain he gave me, Omen is able to recover enough HP to return to the green. He launches another Fire Blast and knocks Omen down to 6 health. Omen uses Sap Strength and recovers all of her HP with the leftovers and grassy terrain. He hits me with one more Fire Blast and I cross my fingers that he doesn't crit or burn. Thankfully it doesn't, and I can get off one more Calm Mind. The grass fades and I realize that this is my last turn. There's no way I win if I hold back now. One more Fire Blast chars Omen, but it doesn't finish. Omen uses Surf, desperate for this to finish him off. The waves crash down, and... she's done it! The crowd cheers and the music soars as Leon graciously admits defeat. I watch my team try to evolve one last time. Leon's undefeated record is shattered as I am crowned the new champion of Galar. So there it is. I've beaten Pokemon Shield using only First Evolution Pokemon. I take the field and line up with my team. Each one of them played a huge part in getting me to where I stand now. But I will say this isn't the optimal team for doing this. Not by a long shot. I went through both the base game and DLC Pokedexes and narrowed it down to 58 Pokemon that I could use. So if you're thinking of doing this, feel free to make your own team. There's a lot of different options. But enough storytelling and theatrics, let me just be real for a second. This baby mode video was a blast to make, and I'm super proud of how it turned out. This will probably be the longest video on my channel right now, and I've never done a video quite in this style before. So let me know if you liked it. I mean, you don't have to. Okay, to be honest, I don't know how to end this video. So, thanks for watching. Assuming that you watched the whole thing, I certainly hope you enjoyed it. I'm probably going to do another one of these when the Diamond and Pearl remakes come out, so stay tuned for that. Oh boy, finally done. Man, like nearly 2 months of work, but you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. I think that was an original idea. I haven't seen something like that done before, so I'm pretty proud of that. And wait, what? Wait, no!